Welcome everyone to a new Jaltest Marine webinar. The title of this webinar is going to be Upgrade Your Official Dealer Shop and Service with the Best All-Makes Tool. This is focused is mainly for dealers, although everyone can watch it and see how we do things and how you can use Jaltest Marine. But as I'm aware that many dealer shops use a second tool, an All-Makes tool, or some of them they don't do it. I want to show them how they can increase value and income with a tool like Jaltest Marine. I'm gonna do a little presentation, but I'm gonna be switching from the presentation and the software in demo mode so I can show you some functionalities. Okay. I'm gonna divide this in three main parts: introduction, why Jaltest Marine, and additional information. I'm gonna be doing this webinar. It's gonna last like about 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then we can open some questions. So you can use the chat and you can send me those questions. Okay. Anyway, I have one of my colleagues who will be helping me, and he can also be answering questions for you while I'm doing the webinar. Okay, so first part, introduction, who we are, network, a little bit about Jaltest Marine, and an award that we received last year. First thing, Jaltest Marine is part of the Jaltest project, the diagnostics project, but the company is called Kojali. And the Kojali group, we do a lot of things. We have about 30 years of experience, and in the diagnostic side, we have a little bit more than 20 years. This is our headquarters in Spain. We're from Spain, although we are doing the webinar from our subsidiary here in the USA. And we started, and we still do it. We manufacture parts for mainly for commercial vehicles, also ag vehicles, etc. And then we started to manufacture electronic components. We also do reman. We can manufacture ECMs, and then we start with Jaltest Diagnostics. We start with trucks, obviously, and then we had so much success that we diversified into other industries like agricultural, off-highway, and marine. And also something else is Jaltest Telematics. This is something super good that we have been working the last years. It's not just telematics, it's also remote diagnostics. First is for commercial vehicles, but I'm pretty sure that in the near future we're going to find it also in other industries and also have different solutions for the marine industry. This is our network. Our headquarters is in Spain, although we have three companies, three subsidiaries, which are in Italy, France, and the USA. Okay? I'm doing a webinar here from USA. We're based in Miami, and from here we take care of North America, the Caribbean, and Central America. Then we have other commercial offices, and then we can be, pretty much everywhere because we have agreements with distributors. Okay, so right now let's talk about marine. And what is marine? What is Jaltest Marine? We try to be the one-shop solution. Not just diagnostics, not just bi-directional functionalities, advanced diagnostics, but technical information, a management tool, and customer support. So everything that a shop needs to work, and in this case, also very, very useful for dealers. We have three main parts. The hardware. Right now, we don't show here this picture all the optional cables because, as you may know, in the marine industry, there's many. We have about 60 of them. And we have the software. I'm going to talk about this at the end of the presentation. We have different licenses. So if you don't work on inboard, outboard jet skis and stationary engines, and you just work on outboards, you can be purchasing just the outdoor model. Okay, we have yearly license, although at the moment in the marine it is not mandatory to renew. If you don't renew, you could still use the entire diagnostics, all the diagnostics menu until the last version paid. Okay, but you need to know that we spend a lot of resources in the developing process where we have updates every 4 months and also the customer support. And as I can say here, optionals, we have different things, mainly the cables. Not everyone will use everything, so they don't need to purchase every cable. The award, this is great recognitions. Last year in the IBEX show, we got an award from the NMMA. We are part of the NMMA, we are part of the NMEA, and we got a recognition on the Boyer and Marina hardware and software. So this is great for us, and because they recognize our hard work. Also, other companies like Volvo Penta, Evi they got also this same prize in other categories. So we cover brands that they also get an award. So this was great news and a great recognition. Let's get into the second part. Let's get straight to the point. Why Jaltest Marine? Okay, so how can Jaltest Marine upgrade your business? What to expect from Jaltest Marine? Why are we better than our competitors? And some specific examples. In this section, I'm going to be switching to the demo mode on the software so I can show you some examples, real examples. First thing, how can Jaltest Marine upgrade your business? So what I see is mainly is use this as a second tool, obviously, because if you're an official dealer, you will have the OEM tool, okay? But there's two scenarios for brands that you represent and to service what you don't represent. So here, what I say here is, for example, sometimes and many times there are OEM restrictions. You can purchase one tool, but they don't let you purchase a second tool. Or maybe you need to have like a higher commitment with that brand to get another OEM tool. So with Jaltest Marine, you will be able to use that your same brands that you present, and you won't need to ask for a second tool to the official manufacturer. Second, the cost. It might be more pricey to purchase a second OEM tool, or if you represent different brands, if you have to purchase 3, 4 different tools, it might be more expensive than just purchasing All-Makes tools. Third, workers with restricted use of the OEM tool. Okay, so this is in some shops, there's technicians that are not too versed and they're not allowed to use the OEM tool, but they could be using a tool like Jaltest Marine. And also, we have something called expert mode code. You can request it totally free. And for some advanced functionalities, especially if you write on the ECM, you don't give that to that person that code, and that he or she won't be able to change anything because they need that code. So you will be able to control more who's using the tool and do diagnostics. Fourth, mobile repair. And it might be smarter to take just one tool instead of 3 or 4 because sometimes you don't know what you're gonna find out. And also, if you are in the if you take your OEM tool, you will leave your shop without that OEM tool. So it might be better to use an All-Makes tool for this. Also, a better user experience. You're gonna see it right away. Our software layout is very intuitive, very easy to use. And compared to almost all OEM tools, the user experience is much better. Something also new, also something different about workers with restricted use of OEM tool. Talking to a dealer, very known inboard brand, they thought this was very, very interesting because if they want to service, for example, they can be in Miami, they have a client in the Caribbean, instead of traveling over there and taking their OEM tool, they could be sending the Jaltest Marine tool over there. Obviously, they should have some kind of technician or somebody that could at least plug our tool. They could be doing diagnostics and doing things remotely without having to send their OEM tool. So this is also something interesting. Okay, so let's get to service what you don't represent. So right now, we'll be able, without having to commit with that brand, to expand our business. Also for surveying, maybe I don't get into maintenance mechanics, but I can use a tool for surveying, generating reports. Also to manage your marina, because sometimes some business, they're dealers, they also have a marina. They don't have to represent every brand, and if they have clients that are use their marina, it would be very interesting to be able to service those brands too, even if they're not an official dealer of that brand. Also, mobile repair, okay, and meet customer needs. It can be something urgent or something a very good customer or a friend, and if you don't have a tool to do the maintenance, you won't be able to meet those needs. So it might be interesting also to have like second tool like Jaltest Marine for that. Let's get here what to expect from Jaltest Marine. So Jaltest Marine is four different things. Four different things. I always say this, and obviously everything is based on the diagnostics. Um, Advanced diagnostics, but I have four different things. It's technical information, the management tool, and the support. Okay, so four different things in just one software. That's why I said it's the one-shop solution. Okay, so first, diagnostics. It's All-Makes, all models, and all systems. We have a full coverage at a competitive cost, and I have divided diagnostics functionalities in three different groups. First, reading functions. We have guided diagnostics. I'm going to explain why I say guided diagnostics, operation data, and system data. Then bi-directional functionalities like measurements, system checks, active components, and data recorder. We can do a CTRL and record it. And the third group, advanced functionalities that normally requires to write on the ECM, like parameters, calibrations, and maintenance tasks. Let's get into the software. So I can show you. Okay, let's show you a real example. We have four different models: inboards, outboards, jet skis, watercrafts, and stationary engines. Let's make an example. Choose Evinrude, the specific model. And now we have a help. This is the help button. And since the beginning, we're telling you where the connector is, more detailed image, detail, and the connectors we need. So it's very simple. We have two cables that we need, the marine adapter plus the Evinrude cable. We go to our hard case, we take those cables, and that's it. It's very, 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 very simple. Now let's connect. I'm going to show you the diagnostic side with this, then the technical information with another brand, so we see different things. So this is the diagnostics menu. We can always reduce size, increase size. First, read fault codes. Why I said before guided diagnostics, because we're very good in technical information, and as it's in the same software, we can relate the technical information with the diagnostics. Okay, so for example, here this is the status of the code. Okay, either if it's active or non-active, proprietary code, number of times we had that situation, and the description. We don't stop here. That's why we're a game changer in Jaltest Marine. First, food stream data. This is diagnostics, more information about the code, when it last happened, etc. And this help and component of the fault. This is technical information. We tell you what component is related to the fault code. And what else? See information about the component. We give you more information like images, operational values, situations, even location, etc. Here we could click into display measurements. It's going to take us to diagnostics to measurements to see the live data of that sensor. And here also very, very important wiring diagrams. We have in more than 90% of the systems wiring diagrams. This is very important, as you may know, because you can have an active fault code, but the sensor can be totally in good situation. The problem can come from the wiring. So we tell you how those components and how every component is connected to the ECM. So Left and right, we have the components, and in the middle, we have the ECM information with the pinouts. This is super useful. Let's go back to diagnostics menu. Obviously, we can erase codes if they are non-active from here, and here also clear fault codes. System data. This is ECU data. It depends on some brands. For example, I believe in Yamaha, the operation data is found under the system data. In others, you find it in the diagnostics menu under operation data. So it depends on how you find it on the OEM tool, and that's how we show it to our customers. This is something about reading on the ECM. Operation data, as I was saying, trip data, we have different groups, trip data reset, and total data. So total data, we cannot erase this information, but if it's a trip data, we can erase it. Example, this is super useful to know the state of the engine. We can see the operation hours in the previous group that I showed you, and now we know and how much time we have spent in the different RPM ranges. Everything that we're doing is being saved under a diagnosis report. Okay, so you're going to be able to save all your reports on the management tool. All-Makes, all models, not just for one specific brand and one specific model. Monitoring or measurements. When we see system display, we're going to see like a bigger picture of the structure of the engine, and especially for non-verse technicians, they can have a better picture. Here we'll see some measurements. We can see much more than this, but when we see system display, it's in a structure like this. If we go to live data selection, we'll be able to select different, either all the measures or by groups, or you can select whatever you need. Example, and we have three options. First, we can see it like this, gauges. Whenever we see a question mark, we click it. What I told you before is we relate technical information and diagnostics. So here you click and we're showing images of this. And also we can click and we will take you to the wiring diagrams. Second option, we can graph it. If we have more than one measure, we can unselect, select, we can stop it, we can go back and forth. And the third option is this, you will see the value. This is how it's being saved automatically, okay? So if we want to save gauges or the graph, I always do the example, we can do a screenshot. At any time we can do screenshots, we can print the information. And if you wanna have all this in the same report, you can click into the camera option, including diagnosis reports, and that's it. We go back, and now I'm gonna show you a preview of this. Same structure, you can have it for different brands, and as I'm gonna explain later, you can save and create customer list, vessel list. You can create different user IDs, different technicians, so it's identified. You can put your logo, your company's information, and everything that we are doing and we are accessing is being saved. I don't access to that part, or I don't try to do some function, it's not going to be saved. As I was saying, we can do a screenshot and it's going to be saved in our diagnostic report. We can even use this as an invoice and add more information, hours, price per hour, etc. Also, if we access to do like a C-tray or some kind of test, and we select the same measures all the time, we can create a new group and save it that way. The next time you get into that system, you wouldn't find here that new customized menu or group, you click it, and directly you will have those measures selected. Let's get back. Activate components. Selected component system checks will be able to analyze if everything is working correctly, even for mechanic situations. It doesn't have to be an electronic problem. Injectors, injector coils, etc. Very simple to use this. It's the same thing we get into an inboard, a jet ski, a stationary engine is going to be the same structure. Let's make an example with system checks. The cylinder cutout. First thing, step one, what you are about to do. You are not lost, we're giving you additional information. Here you will see a plus as before in the measurements. You can customize your own help. You can click here, add that information, and it's going to be available underneath our information. Yes, we can install this in up to 3 devices per link, per hardware, per serial number. You can be in the same network. So if somebody is creating anything, your other colleague, a superior or employee will be able to see it from their computer. So this is nice because we can add information, not just for a brand and for a model, and everybody in our company, because we're in the same network, can profit from that. Okay. Also, you can have technicians that are in the shop. You can be in the office and you don't do anything in the shop. You can access the GRP model and see what your technicians are doing. So this is a step one. We click into accept. And this is step two, initial conditions. We need to meet them in order to do this process, this function. And sometimes we're going to let you do it, but the results can be wrong. Let's click into accept. And right now is when we either do the process automatically, or in this case is manual. Okay, so it's very simple. You can just click off, then you will click on. You can even select the graph and you can do the same thing at the same moment and see the results with the measurements with the graph. Same process. Again, we can go to another brand and you will see it the same way. So the learning curve is going to be low. Now we're done. And it's asking us, do you want to display the results? I can click no. It's going to be saved anyway in our diagnostics report. But I'm going to click yes. So you will see the results. In this case, we're in demo mode, but normally you will see the result per injector in on and off. Parameters, what I was saying before, well, everybody can display this, but to modify parameters, we need this expert thing activated. Okay? You have to go to our website, jaltest.com, into your customer area and request it. It's totally free. You will receive it right away. Here we can change engine location, all the time, water pressure, injector coding. We are the only All-Makes tool that's capable of doing injector coding on Evinrude. I'm clicking into injector coding. As you can see, even if you have activated the FMO code, I need to accept. Click the box and accept. Again, as I showed you previously, step one, what we're about to do, information that you need. In this case, what we say is with any free application on your cell phone that's able to read QR codes, we can read it and then we'll get a code. And with just that, we're going to be able to do our injector coding. We click into accept. Again, step two is initial conditions. The engine must be stopped. Click into accept. And now we can choose the injector. And now we can introduce our code. It's very simple. Let's see if it works with this. Well, I have to repeat it. It's not going to work because I just made up the numbers. But it will say that it's done and just do a reset, switch off, switch on. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Now you can do this functionality that's very valuable without having to be an Evinrude technician or Evinrude official leaders, or even if you are, you can use Jaltest to do the same thing. You have to use the OEM tool. Now let's get into maintenance, engine braking, and winterization mode. In most of the winterizations, pretty much in all the boats, you have to do it manually, but on Evinrude, you can use it and you can do it with Jaltest Marine. Then calibrations, throw position sensor, and adjust the trim limit. You can use this. It's not just to read codes. You can do all kinds of dealer level functionalities. And the last thing is data recorder. We can select up to 24 measures and record up to 30 minutes. So if you want to record more than 30 minutes, you can just click into stop and then record again. Very simple. We click into accept. We get again into the measurements. Just gonna select first four one, and I click accept. Okay, and now I can record up to 30 minutes. Now I can just click into stop, and I can display the results right now, or if I don't want to, doesn't matter. I can access the main menu and access the data recorder menu and retrieve the video or the recording that you want. I will click into accept so I can show it to you. Okay, and now what we can do is we can click into play. We have three different menus: read full codes, system data, and measurements, the four measures that you selected. You click into play, and you will know in the exact minute and second when those codes were active, how the measures were at the same time, and the system data of that engine. Same thing, same structure. You can access this, all the technical information, same way you do when you connect to the ECM. Okay, all this is being recorded. Accept here. Data player, very simple. Now, if you want to go back, it asks you if you want to save the diagnostics reports. Okay, now you can save it, or you can add this to a specific customer or create a new one, vessel, etc. Okay. Okay, let's get back to the presentation. Now we finished with the diagnostics. Now technical information. We're very, very good in this. We have updates every 4 months. It's not just new brands, new models, new diagnostics functionalities, but it's also new technical information. We have colleagues that they just work on technical information. For us, this is something very, very important. So technical information, it was on the left side of the screen. We have system technical data. You will see some general aspects of that system. Also components, all that component list that you then could relate to the diagnostics full codes. All the information about images, location, operational values. Wiring diagrams, very important. Vessel service data. All this is taken from official manuals, and we retrieve and we filter the most important information and we add it to the software. So in vessel service data, what we can do is we can generate maintenance reports. For example, if you have to do your 1 year maintenance, we'll tell you what you need to check. You can select all these, add notes, and create a report, just like the diagnostic reports, but on the maintenance side. Then vessel technical data. I'm going to show you right now all this, okay? But vessel technical data also very valuable. All kinds of technical information like tiny torques, etc. Troubleshooting guides. We have 2 of them, by errors and by symptoms. And fourth, releases and procedures, okay? So right now, let's get into the software again. Now, let's make an example with an inboard. Again, we can see the menu here. You can reduce this, or you can just increase this. We'll see all the brands that we cover. You click into Volvo Penta. Okay, let's go into diesel. And now all this information can be accessed even if you're not connected to the engine, to the system, to the diagnostic port of that engine. But you need to have your link, your Jaltest box connected via USB to your computer. Let's take the engine. And now let's start system technical data. Now we can change this depending on the configuration, the motorization, the type of ECM. We can select it. You will access information that's exactly about your engine, your system. Now you will see all the information. When we tell you more information in the technical information side, when you have a fault code, it's because we take it from here. That's why it's so valuable to have all this information in the same software. In most OEM tools, you don't find this. You can have a manual, a PDF or something, but in here, in Jaltest Marine, we try to be the one-stop solution and give you all the information you need to do your repair. You can select different components. Very simple. Diagrams. I've already showed that to you. Same structure where before in it was an outboard in an Evin route. Right now we are in an inboard, same structure. Okay? We put our same structure so our customers will understand easier all this. Okay, very simple, same thing, show component list. When I click it to show component list, is the components that are found in the system technical data. Now, vessel service data, we can select motorization I'm using, and now, very simple, annual inspection, for example, generic, you can select what you're doing. Engine compartment, the same thing. You can even check what you have done. You can add some notes. You click into accept. And now from here, yes, you have to see the preview, but you have to save this from this screen, okay? Very important. Pretty much is the same thing as a diagnosis report, but the different thing is that you can see everything you're doing, you're checking, it will be saved, okay? Same thing under a specific technician, boat, client, etc. As we can see here, the plus sign, this means that we can customize our own vessel service data. Okay, so then we can add to our maintenance report that information that we have customized ourselves as a user, as a customer. Vessel technical data. This is again, it's not diagnostics. That is going to help us to do our repair. Okay, we have all kinds of groups of information. We have the adjustments and tolerance, tiny torques, etc. And increase the size of the images. All this is included in the software. Very, very valuable for official leaders. And troubleshooting by symptoms. In this group or this area, we see the plus sign. That means that we can customize our own troubleshooting guides. And I was saying before, we can be in a network with more users, more technicians of my same company. I can add information and it's going to be available for the other technician, for the other colleagues. Very simple. We will have our steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, etc. And these are possible solutions for the problems we have. Let's get back. Okay. And here, for example, I want to show you the releases and procedures. Okay. So if I click here, I'm going to see this information. Sometimes I have to do things manually. In this case, on Volvo Penta, we need to activate this in order to do our diagnostics and also in order to use the boat and to navigate. Okay, so we give you all this information so you can do it by yourself. Okay, this is part of releases and procedures. You can have your full diagnostics coverage, but if you don't have this information, you won't be able to do it if you don't know it. But we give all this in the technical information column. Okay. Let's go back to our presentation. Now GRP management tool. I like this section a lot. I believe that most of our customers, they don't know how to use this in full. I'm going to do a video of this very soon, and I'm going to explain all the GRP, the management tool in detail, okay? And what we can do here is we can create customer lists, vessel lists. We can access our reports, okay? Diagnostic reports, maintenance reports, work order reports. We have a workshop management. We can assign work orders. Why? Because we have our human resource section. We can create different user IDs. Okay, so, and well, I can obviously see my task. So you can be a company without a management tool, and you can use this completely, but you can obviously there are some companies, bigger companies that have their own management tool, but still, if you can create different users for your technicians and you can create customers and vessel lists and access your reports, that's fantastic. Let's get back to the software. And I will click here, GRP. Now this is the main menu. Customer list. You can create all your customers, okay? You can create customers. I made up all this information, okay? So you can create your customers. You will see all the vessels that are owned by that customer. You can have contact details. If you want, you can add all the information from your customer's name, position, phone number. This is very useful. Why? Because whenever you're creating information, it's going to be assigned to a specific client vessel. And when you want to retrieve that information, it's going to be easier. If you go to reports and you generate 1,000 reports per year, if you don't know if they are part of a vessel or a client, it's going to be more difficult for you to retrieve that information. Vessel list, same thing. You can create a vessel list without assigning it to a specific customer. For example, here in this case, I didn't assign this to a specific customer. Okay, but if you can do it afterwards, it's not a problem. Reports. Here, as I was saying, you can retrieve the information, you can filter by name, date, customer, vessel, etc. You can pick anything and it will take you to the report that you have generated, back then, whenever you did it, okay? When activating the GRP synchro, and it's being done here in configuration, all this information is being saved in our servers in the cloud for free. So if your computer gets damaged, do not worry, because when you install it in another device, either a computer or a tablet that has to be Windows based, you will be able to download that information. Okay. Maintenance reports, I showed you before what it is, or the vessel service data. And this is work order reports. Okay. Why? Because you can create work orders, assign it to a specific technician, and once they're done and the administrator confirm that it's done, you will be able to generate the report, the work order report. Workshop management. From here, I could be adding new orders. I can create it from scratch, or as we have a reception user type, okay, let me access to the human resource. That person can generate a reception form and it will be available on the workshop management, so the administrator can generate that work order. As you can see, by role, you have administrator, service manager, reception, shop foreman, and technician. Each type of user has their own rights and restrictions. For example, I talked about the expert mode code previously, And here, you don't have to type the code every time, okay? You can create your user IDs, and if you have that specific user type that's allowed to have the expert mode code when they log in with their information, they don't have to type the expert mode code every time, okay? Workshop management, we can create an order. You can assign it to a specific kind and vessel or not. And then you can create the different tasks. You can create different tasks to the same vessel or not, to the same technicians or not, and you'll see the status of everything. Okay, finished, open, close, etc. Also, you have all the tasks assigned, and you have workshop time reports. Let me filter this information. Okay, now we'll know how much time we're spending in doing our task, okay, by user and by vessel. So then you can know, okay, to do this or work order, that task, I spent 2.3 hours. And in total, and all this time, it was 154 hours. That way, I can have a better control and can be more efficient. The same thing for the tool use history, especially if we have different serial numbers, because we can have different Jaltest Marine tools and we can create a network. And if we have two Jaltest Marine, we can install it up to 6 devices. And from here, I can select what is the tool use history of that tool. Okay. Well, reception, as I told before, we can create reception forms, and they will be available on the workshop management. So as you can see, is very simple, but it's very complete. You can either use it and everything, or you can just use whatever you need. Okay, you can create your different user IDs. You can access your reports, and you can go from there. Okay, so this is a super useful tool, and it's inside of the same software. That's why I always insist that Jaltest is much more than just diagnostics. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, customer support. We have local customer support in Miami. I'm going to show a slide afterwards. We're available from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern hours. We can speak English, Spanish, French for our customers. We can receive phone calls, email. We can even do remote assistance, and we can do something called Jaltest feedback. Okay, let me get back again to the software. First, you click here, contact details. You have your contact information, email, phone number, remote assistance. It's here. We can click into remote assistance, and a new window is going to pop up. It's the quick support team viewer. We use that software, and if we need so, you can provide us the ID and password, and we can remote in and control your computer and see what's going on and help you. And the last thing is Jaltest feedback. This is a direct communication with the engineering department of our company. It can be about a problem, okay, but also a suggestion. We develop based on customer needs. So if you believe that we should improve anything, you can send us this information. Do not forget to add your email, because if you don't have the email address, we won't be able to reply. You can add some screenshots, and something that's great is when you're connected to the ECM of an engine, what you can do here is send it, and it's not just your message, it's also a file and how it's communicating the system, the ECM of the engine, with our link, okay, with our software, with our tool, and that way we can analyze that. Okay, so this is very important. And then you will have a Jaltest feedback history, so you can see all the Jaltest feedback you have sent in the past. Okay, so customer support is very, very important, and for us. Okay, now let's get back to the presentation. And now, as why are we better than our competitors? Okay, I miss the th there. Is because coverage. Okay, we have an extended coverage in 4 different models: inboard, outboard, jet skis, and stationary engines. We're very, very good in diesels. We have a faster and more stability. This is very important. It's not just provide coverage, but have a fast connection and that's stable. It's user friendly. You have seen it. Local support, great materials and finish. We are in constant development with improvements every 4 months. We believe that we compete in another level, and also because we are the only one-shop solution that include all those 4 parts that we have shown previously. Let's tell you some specific examples right now. Okay, first inboard. I'm doing this with screenshots. Mercruiser, very important brand. We have gasoline and diesel coverage. We cover the SmartCraft G3 technology. We can do DTS calibration. Now Volvo Penta, also we have gasoline and diesel coverage. On the gasoline system, we have it with catalyzers. We obviously, it's not just the engines, the EVC technology. Okay, this is some kind of SmartCraft technology in Mercury. This means electronic vessel control, and we have the different EVC generations. Okay, very important. I'm showing this again. They received a prize, a recognition, the IBEX show like we did for a new EVC generation. Now comments, we have a complete coverage. Also, I'm going to explain it afterwards. We can access inboard engines with our stationary engines models. Okay, if it's the same engine, the same ECM, we can do it. So it's not just the coverage from the inboard side. Here we have engine proprietary diagnostics. Okay, because we know that some competitors, they do their diagnostics to the SIM, which is the gateway. Okay, but what we do is proprietary diagnostics. Also, SmartCraft technology, as you may know, they used to have a joint venture with Mercruiser. Actually, we have a group that's Cummins Mercruiser Diesel, but right now they don't have a joint venture anymore, but they still buy their technology. So as you can see, also SmartCraft technology, DTS calibration. The different thing from when we're in the Mercruiser is we see the SIM, this is the gateway. Actually, if you can get into your Mercruiser diesels, you will see also the SIM. Why? Because Mercury, they don't manufacture the diesel engines. Okay, that's why they need the system like to do the gateway. Let's go to Caterpillar. We have a great coverage, but to highlight something, injector calibration, you can do it both with stream files and code. And here in MTU, just to say that either by the inboard side or the outboard side, stationary engine side, we cover the 3 different ECMs. Okay, the ADEX, MDEX, and DDEX. Let's get into the outboard. Okay, Mercury again. We cover Mercury and Mercury Racing. Here again, Western Mercury. We have SmartCraft technology, DTS calibration. Yamaha, we have a fantastic coverage. Just to highlight something, we can perform the maintenance reset. Evinrude, as I mentioned before, injector calibration. We cover also G2 technology, and also E-Tex. They also receive a prize during the IBEX show in our category for the E-Tex. Suzuki, we have a fantastic coverage, pretty much like the OEMs. It's the same thing with a lot of brands, but just to mention something in a screenshot of the coverage. Let's go to the jet skis. Here, I'm not going to show any specific brand, just to say something important here. We can perform key programming. Okay, as you may know, on Yamaha and Kawasaki, you have to do it manually, but we are going to provide the plug that you need, and also in releases and procedures, what you need to do do that programming, and on CDO you use it and you do it with a diagnostics tool, in this case with Jaltest Marine. And also that is not just for the engine, you can find also multiple systems, like the brakes, instrument clusters, suspension, etc. In stationary engines, I'm not going to talk too much about this. Just to mention that we have a fantastic diesel coverage, inboard compatibility. I told you before. Sometimes if you don't find something in the inboard side, you can find it in the stationary engine side. As long as it's the same engine, the same ECM, we could be using it as well. Okay. We cover, all kinds of industrial engines, not just for the gensets. Sometimes people believe, do you cover gensets? At the end, what we do is we cover the stationary engines. That's on the genset. So if the genset is manufactured by a brand, but they don't manufacture the engine and they buy it from John Deere, Caterpillar, etc., you need to find the stationary engines, not the genset brand, okay, or model. So for gensets, hydraulic pumps, water pumps, compressors, etc. This is very valuable. We have a lot of customers in this side, and it's very, very, very good. Okay, some additional information. Jaltest Marine numbers, computer specifications, Jaltest Marine kits, and customer support. Okay, so these are the numbers at the moment. In our latest version 20.1, we have 66 brands, almost 1,200 models, like about 3,000 systems, about almost 2,000 wiring diagrams, almost 22,000 troubleshooting by symptoms, and we are increasing all this information. We're increasing the coverage every update, every 4 months. We are very serious with this. We have updates every 4 months, and there's a schedule, and we do this all the time. Okay, computer specifications. It has to be Windows based. This is mandatory, and you need to have enough available space on the hard drive. These are the two things that are mandatory. Obviously, if you have a better computer, and here we put the minimum requirements, it's going to go faster and better because you're managing a lot of data. But if you're installing this in a Windows XP, as long as it's Windows and you have enough available space, it's going to work. It's going to work worse than in another computer, but it's going to work. Okay, but again, tablet and computer, Windows based. We have different kits. Okay, this is the full kit. This is the only kit where you will find the stationary engines. Okay, this is the kit that we sell the most. Our 4 different models, but we have also the boat kit that is inboard plus outboard. Then you have inboards, then you have outboards, and then you have jet skis. Okay, so what you buy is the kit, the hardware, and then you need to add the optional cables. You can work on inboards. You might not work on every inboard, so then you can select your own the cables you need. Anyway, we have distributors. Actually, we have our friends from one of our distributors that are not in the webinar. They customize their own kit, so they're already putting things easy. They put the hardware, software, laptop, cables, and then you can select all these. Okay. Then customer support, very important for us. We're available by phone, email. I've said it before. We can do remote assistance if we need so. Jaltest feedback, and this is our opening time. We even work on minimum services, okay, except pretty much Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the 4th of July. But the rest of holidays, we have minimum services. Okay. And then just to finish, why Jaltest? I have repeated all this a lot of times, but it's All-Makes and all models in just one tool and one license. It's very intuitive and easy to use. One software layout structure for every model, so the learning curve is very low. We provide training, e-learning. We have 20 years of experience pretty much since the system are electronics. So we are experts in diagnostics. We have all those extra features that are super useful, like GRP, technical information support. We are flexible with the license, okay? The customer support, yeah. Wireless connection, I didn't say that already. We can do USB and Bluetooth connection. Okay, obviously the computer you're using has to support Bluetooth. Then in the tech information side, in up to 90% we have of the system, we have wiring diagrams, also component technical data. We provide troubleshooting guides, service data, etc. We're in constant evolution. Every 4 months we have updates, and as you can see, this is also very, very useful for official dealers. As a second tool, we mentioned the reasons, even if you want to service the brands that you represent or you do not represent. I believe that we didn't have in the marine industry a tool like this that could meet the needs of the technicians of the companies. But now we can do pretty much everything with an All-Makes tools like Jaltest Marine. And well, that's it. Thank you very much. I'm aware that Isidro has been replying some questions, but if you have any questions, we're here for that. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, we have here a question that Daniel had is how to print information. Well, the first thing you need to know is the symbols, okay? What I was showing you before the screenshot, okay? But we have also the print button, okay? Well, internet connection, as you can see here, everything that you see a globe, okay, pretty much going to be just the vessel technical data and the troubleshooting guides. You need internet, okay? You can print vessel service data, you can print diagrams, components, but if you want to print vessel technical data because it's under the info line group with the globe, also the releases, you need internet for that, okay? Okay, so here you print it, now it's available. You see, you can print all the information. You can print also technical data type, specification, or section generic. So you can select whatever you want to print. Okay, so it's very simple. You click into accept. I don't know if right now you're seeing this, and now you can print it into PDF. Okay, you will generate a PDF document. Okay, same thing that you are on the diagrams right now. This is technical information. For this, you don't need internet. Okay, it's on the software without internet, and all that you can print it. Okay, so for example, here, okay, how to save it? Yeah. Okay. So here, for example, is the wiring diagrams. This is technical information. Okay. You don't need internet for that, and you can print the diagram or diagram plus components. This is fantastic because you can save it for you, or you can give it to your customers. Like if you're doing a survey and you wanna, at the end, you need to give information to your customers so they can take better decisions. If you can even give them technical information like troubleshooting guides, all that, you can do it. You can just click into accept, and that's it. You print it as a PDF, and that's it. Let's do what team is asking. I'm going to connect. Okay, well, I'm just gonna profit. As you can see, this is a new thing. Instead of having the type of connection sheet we have, the arrows, now we have the different connection sheets always available. Okay, sometimes we can have, same model with different connectors. You need to select this correctly. If not, it's not going to work. So let's get into the ACM. And you are mentioning report. You're not specifying if it's just diagnostics reports, but I'm gonna show diagnostics and maintenance report. Okay. So right now I can click here. You will see the preview of the diagnostics report. But when are you saving the diagnostics report? You are saving it when you get out from the ECM. Okay. Right now, you won't see much. Why? Because we haven't done anything. That's why you don't see anything. We get into read fault codes, measurements, whatever, you will see more pages, okay? I will close this. vessel service data. Okay, now we can create report, and now I have to click here, save. Okay, I will click save. And that's it. And if I get into the GRP model, I will find it. I'm gonna get into the GRP, so I show you how to print the information. And there's something new from this version of this new graphic interface. Is right now we can customize our GRP. So every time you generate, as you can see, a report, it will be sent to your email. Okay, so this is fantastic. Obviously, you need internet for this at that moment, but if you don't have it at that moment, do not worry. You can send it afterwards. Okay. So this is great. You can have everything on your email. You can also customize the information that you will see on your email, and then you can forward that email to your customer. Okay. So we're making things easier. You want to send a report by email? Well, I will click yes. And as you can see, I have customized this previously. Like it is mandatory to select the date. I put invoice, you could put anything. So, okay, invoice 005 and engines brand. As you can see, you have the little star. So this is not mandatory, but if you want, you can put Volvo Penta. Okay. I can click into accept and that's it. I will send this directly to my email address. Okay. Let's go to the GRP. As you can see, do you wish to save the diagnostic report? I will click yes. Important, if I select this box, it is necessary to select the vessel. Vessel customer add additional information. You can unselect this, doesn't matter, you have to add this information. You can add it afterwards, okay? You click into accept, and now we're sending this. Okay. Do you wish to synchronize with the GRP? I can take no because maybe you don't have time or you don't have internet. Doesn't matter. Whenever you access the GRP model, it's going to ask you, do you want to synchronize the GRP model? Okay. Because if you don't do it, it's not being saved in the cloud. And also it's not being available for your colleagues or superiors, technicians, whatever. Okay. Yeah, you need to know that you don't have internet at that moment, do not worry, you can save it afterwards. Let's get into the GRP so you know how to save it as a PDF. Okay, reports. Okay. This is the one we have just generated. As you can see, we don't have anything because we didn't do anything. And here's very simple, okay? You can do two things. You can export this as an Excel sheet, okay? You can do it. Obviously, you need to know if you have graphics and things like that, you won't be able to export it as an Excel sheet, okay? For that, you need to print it as a PDF, okay? But you need to know that you can export it in an Excel sheet, and there's companies that then they have their own IT department or software, and they can extract some kind of information and add it to their management tool or do things, if with Excel, it's much better. So you have two options, Excel and PDF. So just click here. I don't know if you see this window and you print it as PDF, you click OK, and you just save it in the folder that you want, okay? And just to finish, well, just to finish, no, if you have more questions, we can stay here. Configuration. Report sending, okay? It's here where you have to customize. If you want to activate the email sending, if you want to send the diagnostic report, the maintenance report, both, just one, and then you can format the information as I showed you previously with the date, invoice information, and brand, but I just made up all that. You can put whatever you want, you can put, I don't know, the information you need, then you can customize based on your customer needs. Okay, more questions? While you think anything, also very important here, This is also something that I like. You can search by model from here, but you can also search in vessel list. Okay, so you can search from your GRP list. Okay, I can click to any of these, and it's gonna take me directly to the scan point. And whenever I'm generating anything, the software already knows that it's for a specific vessel and client. Okay. Also, here is our social media information. We are going to upload this webinar to YouTube, and we announce everything on Facebook and other social media. You can go to our Jaltest webpage. Well, here you can do your configurations. You can change from USB to Bluetooth communication. You can also perform your connection test, so you know the voltage you're getting from the engine. Actually, I believe that everybody that accessed this webinar received an email afterwards with a link so they can download the webinar. But anyway, in our YouTube channel, okay, our Jaltest YouTube channel, we will see everything, okay? This is the third webinar that I do for Marine. The previous one was about 1 month ago for surveys, how to profit and take advantage of Jaltest Marine for surveys. And in late October of 2019, I did another one like more general. If you take a look on that webinar, you'll see that the graphic design is different. If you know how to use it, it's pretty much the same, okay? But so you know that from this version 20.1, we have changed the graphic interface, and it looks a little different, and there's some little innovations. Not about coverage, okay? So we have innovations every 4 months, but about the software layout, okay? Jaltest feedback, license data player. I told that to you before. Brand and model personalization. This is nice. For example, before on the genset is okay. I want to have my genset brand on the software. You can, as long as you're selecting a system that we already cover. You can create it, and it will be available under stationary engines or inboard or whatever. Okay, for brands and for models. That's it. So thank you very much for following us. And yeah, in about maybe 1-2 weeks, we'll upload this video to our YouTube channel. We're gonna do another webinar in May, and it's gonna be more specific for industrial users. Okay? Thank you very much.